Welcome to the latest episode of Empowering Women in Construction. And I'm delighted to have Emma Cain here with us from Tarmac. And Emma is wonderful, but I'm not going to speak too much. I'm going to let her introduce herself. So, Emma, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you arrived in being a woman in construction.
Construction, right, okay, so my name's Emma. I'm 32 years of age. I live in Kent and work for Tarmac. I'm based in Sevenoaks. I work within the quarrying industry. I originally done social work in the past, but a job became available at Tarmac. My partner actually works in the packed product side, and he said, there's a job in sort of the weighbridge, and if you're interested for a career change, then go for it. And I thought, you know what, it was time for me to look into something different. It was time for me to have a change. Social work, it was enjoyable, but there was the hard times, and I think I got to a point in my life where I thought, no, I need to change, and I went for it and I got the job. So if I'm honest, it isn't something that I would have, if I was looking for a job, I wouldn't have looked for that sort of job. It isn't something that would have just been, I would have normally looked for the office side of things and things like that. Sort of, I would never have looked into sort of working for a company such as Tarmac, because it is a very male-dominated industry. And for me, I might not come across it now, but in the past, I had very little confidence. So to go and work in a male-dominated industry, it was a big step for me, but I thought, right, I've got to do it. I'm going to do it for me. And it is the best thing that I've ever done. I absolutely love it. It's the best career change I've taken. Originally started in the weighbridge. I started in March 2019, started in the weighbridge. And I was doing the weighbridge consists of lorries coming in and out. You just tear them in, tear them out. And with a social work background, I felt I had a lot more to give with regards to, obviously, sort of using my brain. I had a lot more to give, and I thought, right, I need to do a bit more. So when I was there after a couple of months, I approached my manager and I said to him, I want to do more. I want to do a bit more within sort of this job role. What can I do? And he said, what about sort of helping me on the office side of things? And I thought, do you know what? That's a good step to take, because then it gives me that chance to sort of get an understanding on the back office and the knowledge around quarrying and things like that. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I started off to support him with regards to administration tasks, such as raising purchase orders and things like that, just to sort of get my foot in the door, sort of thing. Really enjoyed it. So then he asked me to start doing month end, which again, really enjoyed doing that. And now I got to a point and I thought, I need to go outside. I need to get my brain. I know the sort of, you hear them on the radio saying this is broken or this has gone wrong, but I didn't really, although I heard it on the radio, I didn't know what was actually happening on site. And I thought, you know what, I need to get out there. I need to get out and see what's going on.
So you're really, really curious about what those things meant.
You hear so much say, so like if the white belt's broke or something like that, it's just things like that. And I was ordering the parts. I was raising orders for the parts for sort of the plant, but I didn't know what they were for. I didn't have any understanding. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go out there and I want to learn. At first, I think they thought I was joking.
Wow. And why do you think they thought you were joking? What was it that happened?
I think because not many women, there's women within Tarmac, but they work in the back office. They do the administration side. So you've got a lot of women in the proportion of women in HR is higher than men, etc., and things like that. So when you look at Tarmac, although we have women working for the company, they're not actually on the sort of, they're not in the construction side. They're not outside sort of, as I say, getting their hands dirty. They're the ones that are in the back office, like I started off in the weighbridge, because at the end of the day, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I used to have my eyelashes done and do my nails. That doesn't happen anymore because I know it's just going to get ruined. So I look forward to sort of getting dressed up and going out, because that isn't what I do anymore. I go to work in PPE, which is the high vis orange, hair scraped back, and but no, it was so when I asked my manager if I could go outside, there was some sort of, my team were absolutely brilliant, but others were a bit, because there's other like departments within obviously Sevenoaks, and some of them sort of laughed it off as if to say, "Oh, really?" And I thought, no, I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna do it. And I've got a colleague who has been very supportive from day one. His name's Dean, and he's sort of like my work brother. He's supported me from day one and encouraged me, and he could see it in me that I wanted to learn, because we have people join us and I think they're just there because it's a job. Whereas I was showing that willingness. I wanted to learn. I wanted to take on board what was happening, sort of thing, on site. So yes, that was it. I went out on site, and then not sadly, but my partner and I was going through IVF, and I had to take a step back. I couldn't continue being on site because of obviously going through IVF. I couldn't put anything at risk. I needed to sort of, that was my goal, having a child.
Your priority, of course.
Yeah, so I had to take a step back, and I was still going out, but I wasn't doing the heavy lifting and things like that. So but then luckily we become, I fell pregnant in the September.
Wow.
September 2019. I fell pregnant. Our first round of IVF, it was successful. So I was very, very lucky. Tarmac, absolutely fantastic company to work for.
I was just going to ask, like, what happened? So one of the things that's really interesting is that, I've heard so much, in what you've just said about being really curious, about kind of stepping out of your comfort zones, and about, going against the norm, really, is what you're sort of saying. And this is why we're doing this podcast, because we're looking out for women exactly like you that are saying, do you know what? This might be a male-dominated industry, but how can we change it? And what am I going to do? How am I going to be part of that? And it is about kind of going beneath the surface, checking things out and so forth. But at the same time, we are women, and definitely. You went through something which was, really personal to you. And thank you so much for sharing that, because
we're very open about our journey. We're very open about our journey. I've got an Instagram page that people follow me and ask me questions and things like that, because at the end of the day, IVF is such a taboo subject, and I feel by me talking about my experience and my partner talks about his experience, we're getting out there to support people, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing in my career, because I want to encourage women. I want them to come into this industry because I think they would love it. It's just so enjoyable, and I love it.
Well, you said that it's the best thing that you've ever done. Tell me more about that. Why do you think it's like the best thing you've ever done?
So in the past, unfortunately, I do suffer with mental health. I suffer with depression. And in the past, I've had jobs where I didn't want to get out of bed. I dreaded going into work. And I've had long-term sickness because of that, and been in a dark hole. And in this job, I've not had one day off sick. I've been there since 2019. I've not been off sick once due to depression. And for me, that is such a big achievement, and it clearly shows that I love my job. I love what I do. I'm not going to bed thinking, oh no, I don't really want to get up in the morning, or I'm waking up in the morning. If I feel low in the morning, it's not, oh, I don't want to get up and go to work. I get myself up and I get to work, because I know once I'm in work, I will have such a great day. I'm not just saying it, I will have a great day because of the environment I'm working in, but with the people that I'm working with, I think sometimes when you've got people around you that are encouraging and supportive, we have a laugh, we're like a family. And at the end of the day, you do spend more time with your work colleagues than your family. And I think sometimes it's really important to have that sort of relationship with them, like with our manager. Yes, he's our manager and we've got that boundary, but he has a laugh with us, and we're just so supportive with everything that we do. It's just everything that we go through as a team, like as an individual, we go through it as a team because we just support each other.
That sounds fantastic. It is so important, and it really does sound like a family. And what's the dynamics like in terms of, you are really close, but you are maybe one of the only sort of women, within that team? Or
I am the only woman. So it is. And at first, I think when I first started, it was how can I put it? It was a change for them, because when a man talks to a man, if they're having a row or something like that, they talk in a certain way. And I think sometimes they forgot that I was a woman, and they would talk to me how they were talking to a man. And me being me, I put them straight. So I just had to say to them,
Good on you.
I'm a woman. It doesn't matter if, like, you don't talk to me how you talk to them. Talk to me with a bit of respect. Yes, if there's an issue, we'll deal with that. Don't talk to me like you would talk to your sort of your best mate or something like that. And I just had to deal with it by sort of not carrying away from it. I would stand my ground and say to him, no, this is like, I will get my point across and I will show you that I am right. And 9 times out of 10, I was right. So it was a good argument, but no.
So Emma, tell me, so you mentioned that you suffered with low confidence before, and I can't even imagine that, because you just ooze confidence, and the fact that you stood up to these men being the only woman just shows me how sort of tenacious you are, and how kind of bold you are as a person. Do you think the role had something to do with that? Like, what do you think changed?
To be honest with you, I think my personal life in the past, I've had a lot go on and things like that. So a lot of that was a reason for my low confidence. I then met my partner, who, one, is the most supportive person I've ever met in my life. And as I say, we've now got our little girl. And if it wasn't for him and my family sort of encouraging me and supporting me and saying, you can do it, then I don't think I would have gone for the job. But then once I got into that job, I don't know, it was sort of, I felt empowered being in that job role. So for me, it was sort of, I was thriving off it. I go to work and I think, right, I'm the only woman here. I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to say how I feel, or I'm going to put my point across. Or it's not even that. Sometimes I think men look at things in a different way to what women do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes I might think of something the way I do, and then they're saying another opinion. And sometimes I think the woman's opinion comes across a bit better, if that makes sense, because we deal with so much in our life, us women, so like mum and things like that. Yeah. So we have to look at so many things. We deal with so many things at once, don't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of what we do in Bud is thinking about diversity, and there's statistics that explain that if you have, diversity in terms of gender in your leadership, you're going to be more successful as an organization. Yeah.
Definitely.
And so I think there's, bringing different elements to something really, really helps it, from a male perspective, from a female perspective, but also about, creating that space. So, I mean, there's so much more that I think we could probably talk all day long, because your journey sounds so interesting. But what would you say to other women? Because as much as you said your partner, found that role, what would you say to other women that are just looking for a career change and are maybe considering, or maybe it's that popped up somewhere that there's an opportunity in construction? What would you say to them?
I would say go for it. It doesn't matter if you go for the job, you get the job and you don't like it. Just try it. Just go out there, come out of your comfort zone and just try it. Because at the end of the day, it isn't for everyone. I could have joined it and then thought to myself, no, it's not for me. I need to go back and do sort of office work. But I think just go out there. Don't think of it as a male-dominated industry, because it is, but it's changing. We're going in that direction. Tarmac is trying, what we're doing at the moment with Tarmac is we're trying to get as many women in the construction sort of operation side as we can, because we feel that times need to change. And it doesn't matter if it's me sort of being a general operative, or as my aim is to sort of work up and become a quarry manager. So things like that, we haven't got many quarry managers within Tarmac either. So it's little things like that seeing that's my goal. I want to achieve that. I want to get there. And I think other women should feel like they can do that. They should just jump out their comfort zone and do it. Even if I've spoken to my company about doing sort of like talks and things like that at schools, because I feel when you go to school, you don't get given that option. Sort of, when I was at school, I remember everyone went to do beauty or something like that. And that's what you do. You go to college, you do beauty. And there isn't that sort of, there's no one out there saying, you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. And my aim is to show my daughter that she can do whatever she wants in life. I don't care what she does, as long as she's happy and as long as it's just what she enjoys. Because at the end of the day, as I said before, you're at work more than you are at home, and being a job that you enjoy is the most important thing. And I just think for women out there, just go for it. It is daunting, don't get me wrong. You're walking around in orange all day, you get stared at when you go to the shops and things like that. So it is daunting, but it's good. I look at it now as though my high-vis clothing, it's my cape, it's my superwoman cape. Wow. I can go out, I feel proud, and I love what I do.
Yeah, I think there's something really special about, going against the kind of grain, isn't it? It's just like, actually, this is who I am, and I'm really proud of being this person. And I might not be the kind of the norm, quote unquote, even though we want it to be the norm.
Yeah.
But hey, this is what I'm doing.
That's what I mean. Sometimes I look back at the film The Greatest Showman when they sing "This Is Me," and when that song comes on, I think, yeah, you can just do what you want. Don't worry about others. Don't worry what you look like. At the end of the day, be you and just be comfortable in what you're doing. And as long as you can show an interest in what you do, you'll go a long way, and you will get that support and that encouragement. And it's within Tarmac, the management is amazing and they're really supportive. So like with this nomination I've been nominated for, sort of, it was something at first I thought, oh, I've been nominated. When you just see like this nomination, you think, oh, I've been nominated for that. I've actually got the support from higher up within Tarmac, and for me, that means so much, because I think it is an award. It's something that I may be able to achieve, and it's something that I can put on my CV at a later date if I sort of choose to go on with my career and things like that. So yeah, I just think, just go for it.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really interested in finding out a little bit more about, your experience. Sounds fantastic with Tarmac, and it's lovely to listen to. What do you think other organisations could do that are in the construction industry to keep women? So we've talked about, maybe giving it a try and just trying it out. But what is it that you think could be really useful for organisations to consider to make sure that women stay in construction?
So before I went on maternity leave at Tarmac, they actually changed the maternity policy, and that is something that when you go for a job, women of any age, I personally feel, who may be looking at starting a family, they look at that. That is one thing they will look at, because they need to make sure that while they're off having that baby, they've got that support, they've got that financial support, because at the end of the day, it isn't cheap. Life isn't cheap anymore. The cost of living's going up. And if you want to start a family, that is your personal choice. But at the same time, you should work for a company that supports that and obviously enables you then benefits to work for that company. I think our maternity policy is absolutely fantastic. For a male-dominated industry, it is just incredible what we receive. And they've also changed the paternity policy, which again is something that's brilliant for the men that work within this industry. And I just think that they do need to look outside the box, because when it comes to facilities on site and things like that, there isn't sort of, okay, you've got the odd toilet for a woman, but at my site we've got a shower cubicle, but it's not sort of something that I would step into, because it's can be accessible by the male sort of workers and things like that. So something like that needs to be looked at. They need to look at the facilities on site for women, because we don't have, that is something that they don't have much with regards to women. It's hard. So when I'm working I drive the loading shovel. So when I'm down, we call it the pit. So basically when I'm in the quarry and I'm driving the loading shovel, it's very difficult for me to sort of access the toilet, because there's no toilets down there. So when I need to go to the toilet, I need to come all the way back up and then go back all the way back down. That can take half an hour. So when you're looking at the sort of how can I put it, when we're running our material, we can't have breaks in the belt and things like that. So little things like that, I feel like that doesn't allow me to fulfill my job as much as I want to. And just feel that they need to look into sort of little things like that for women.
I mean, obviously all organisations have areas where they can sort of improve and so forth, but I guess in terms of thinking about women that organisations want to stay within the industry, is having those, assessing some of those things and thinking about, what could be put in place to make it, I guess, a bit more of a pleasant experience.
Definitely.
in that. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. And I have been dying to ask you about your nomination and the award that you're up for. So please tell us more.
So basically, it's the top 100 women in construction. So I've never heard of it before, but basically on LinkedIn, obviously you get to get your name around and things like that. And people have obviously recognised that I work for Tarmac and what I'm doing, and I'm trying to sort of get the sort of just try and empower women and support women within this industry. And I think because I've been on LinkedIn since I started at Sevenoaks and started within my job, they've seen me grow, and they've seen what changes I've gone through. They've seen that I've now got my license to drive the loading shovel. And to be honest with you, I'm one of the only women in Tarmac within the construction, sort of the operation side, who's got my license. So for me, that is a big achievement. And this award is for people like myself who, there's different categories, and I think someone's nominated me as one to watch because I'm sort of just progressing and I'm just aiming higher and higher each day, if that makes sense. And I think they just want to see me, see what I can achieve. And I'm hoping that my goal is to obviously end up in a higher position and sort of supporting. What I'd love to do is sort of mentor younger people into wanting to do this as a career sort of thing. So like do talks in schools and things like that. It's just something that I'm really passionate about. It is something I've never felt like this before with a job, and it's really, it's nice. It's lovely to just sort of, I've got another sort of just getting messages in my inbox saying, oh, I voted you for that award, and I don't even know that person, but it's just nice to see that people are recognizing that what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. But I think, I found you on LinkedIn. I've never been associated with you before, sort of seeing all of your posts, and I was like, oh my goodness, this lady is amazing. And what I loved is that you were just posting pictures of yourself, like, yes, I'm a woman in construction. I was like, right, if I can get access to this everything, I can.
I think what some people like is the fact I put a post up the other week. I think I went to a party and I sort of had all my hair and makeup done, and I put, this is me of a night time going out enjoying myself, and during the day I'm in my oranges. And it's just to show that you can do both. You can you can do both. You can be that woman, and you can also, don't get me wrong, I'm a woman at work, but I'm just in a male dominated industry where I'm just sort of getting my hands dirty, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I can definitely tell. So what have you seen change in the industry in terms of women, more women coming in? I know that things have been changing slowly. It's a bit like kind of, changing the direction of the Titanic, but what have you noticed in the time that you've been in the industry?
The time that I've been here personally, I haven't actually noticed any more sort of females coming into the operations side or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, we have women who turn up who work for HR, and sort of, if they're going to just come and do a meeting, then they'll put on some spare oranges and they'll do a walk around, because obviously that's what you have to do when you're on site. You have to wear the PPE. But
so I love it. You call it oranges.
I call it oranges. People call it PPE. But yeah, so some people, so when they turn up, they come for a walk around and things like that. And I get asked a lot of questions on, how do I do it? How am I a full-time mum? How am I a full-time working mum, sort of thing? And I think because of my passion for my career, it helps with being a full-time working mum, if that makes sense, because I have got the support of my mum, who has my daughter sort of twice a week. Then she goes to nursery, and I actually work from home once a week as well, which Tarmac have enabled me to do. So again, they've supported me with going back to work full-time. But I haven't noticed many women sort of in the construction side. And again, I think that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I just think it'd be lovely to have another woman on the team, sort of thing, because I just think they'd enjoy it, and the relationship would grow within the team, sort of the dynamics within the team would grow. And I think Tarmac are going in the right direction to sort of get more women within this industry, and hopefully I can sort of support with that.
Well, you're definitely, singing the praises of Tarmac, which is fantastic, because I know that they've done loads and they're continuing to do loads as well in terms of bringing more women into the industry. And hopefully with all that you're doing, you're also encouraging women as well, definitely out there making a difference, and really being a great example of the fact that you can, you know, you can do both, as you said earlier. And I just love that, you know, you don't have to put those limitations on yourself, and just being able to share your journey so kind of openly, and I guess being like a human, do you know what I mean? You know, sometimes there's a
I'm not a robot.
No, we're not robots, we're real people. And it's great to be able to connect on that kind of human level and share your life experiences as well. So that's fantastic. I really appreciate your vulnerability and your openness, and so many people will be able to relate to that. You've talked about mentoring and going to do talks and those sort of things, which I think you'd be brilliant at.
Thank you.
Where would you love to see the industry in, say, 5 years?
In 5 years' time, I would like, I think 50-50. I think have 50% men, 50% females. And I think if we continue going in the direction that we're going, I think we can achieve that. I think just overall in general, not just Tarmac, but I think other companies, I think if they continue to support women how they are, and sort of just empowering women, just make them feel empowered and just support them and just let them know that it's okay, you can step out of your comfort zone, you can do it. Doesn't matter what anyone says to you, if someone laughs at you or anything like that. I've had negative comments several times, and as I say, I think that's made me want to do it more. And I think if there's women out there with my mindset and they want to do this, then I think they can. And I think the younger generation is going to be the one to watch, because I think they're going to be the ones that are going to want to leave college, and they're going to want to go into the construction sort of side of things.
And so what are the key sort of elements or the attributes that you think a woman that's interested in construction should have or aspire to have?
Let me think. I think they need to be sort of not be scared to say no, not be scared to ask sort of any questions, and just hold your head up high, go for it, and don't feel sort of, how can I put it? Don't feel like, trying to think of the word, don't, because it's a male dominated industry, don't feel sort of scared or worried, just go for it. And I think it's very difficult to say, because obviously I'm new to this as well, don't get me wrong, I'm new to it, it's not something I've been doing for years and years and years, but I honestly just think go for it, don't be scared to ask questions, because at the end of the day we're all human, we all need to learn, and yeah, that's all I can suggest really. And just be confident in yourself, just be confident, just hold your head up high and say, yes, I can do this, and this is me, I'm going to do it.
Definitely. And as you said previously, it sounds like there's a real element of like owning your power, you know, in that sort of space as well. So
yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So be confident, ask the questions, don't be afraid to say no. And just go for it.
Yeah, excellent. Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Emma. It's been an absolute pleasure and a joy.
No worries. Thank you.
And all the best of luck with your nomination.
Thank you. Closing date's tomorrow, so we'll find out. I'll keep you posted.
Definitely. Fantastic.
Thank you so much.